Yeah, I'll just start by saying I know I heard some commentary yesterday about this is awesome. I mean, we've been pushing to try to promote the sport for a long time, and I know like Media Day has been you guys that are sitting right here as a one-person show. So I appreciate your efforts up until now. But this is great that the Big Ten has put this together to promote not only our sport but also women's athletics, and just proud to be a part of it and try to continue to push the sport as best we can, and looking forward to another great year, competitive season as always has been, and just looking forward to get after it.
Questions here in the room? Pete.
Pete Ferry, Big Ten Plus. Coach, you've had such a history with the Big Ten. What does it mean to you personally to have the Big Ten itself be the first one to have a media day like this?
I think it's great. I mean, like I opened with, I'm not going to say I would expect nothing less, but I just think that's a part of what comes with being here. Always pushing limits, and just like Commissioner Warren said yesterday, we're always trying to push that ceiling higher and higher, and make other people follow us, not be followers. And so I believe that we're doing that right now, and again, happy to be a part of it, and to continue that tradition through the sport, and like I said, throughout all athletics as well.
Questions, Lee?
Lee Feinswap from volleyballmag.com. Chris, every year, I'm kind of generalizing, but it's kind of true. It seems like your team is good, but you kind of stay under the radar for some reason, and then all of a sudden, mid-November into December, you're always good. Is there a method to your madness there? Is it coincidence? Or is it,
I think a question for the players.
No, but that's not unfair.
Yeah, no, I think you're correct. I think we always talk about just improving one day at a time, and just taking every day for what it's worth, and just try to improve with every single step of the way. And some years you can put it all together and string it together, but if you have an injury or a sickness or an illness, and sometimes the conference isn't going to go light on you, then all of a sudden the people are going to say, oh, your best player's sick, or your best middle's hurt, or whatever. People are going to keep coming after you, and so some of it is stroke of luck too, right? And so I think with last year as an example, we kind of hit. We had a nice win against Penn State, and then we had like 3 weeks where we were out with one of our main starters, and just kind of, I wouldn't say it fell on a slide, it just didn't do as well as we wanted to. Finished 7th in conference, and then, like you mentioned, we make it to the tournament, and safe to say nobody wants to see us in the tournament. We've always pushed that edge, and we talk about being great risk takers. While we're playing in this tough conference, and that prepares us for the end of the year. And so I think it's just mostly with the messaging, and like I said, playing in this conference prepares you for just about anything. And I think you've seen that not only with us, but you've had teams that have 6 teams in the Sweet 16, 4 teams in the Elite 8, 2 teams in the Final Four for the last 6-7 years. I think that the records kind of speak for themselves, but we're happy to be a part of that, and like I said, we just try to do this one day at a time, and we want to finish better than we started every single season, and I'm proud to say that we've done that for a majority of the seasons that we've had.
Follow up on that is, how much does it feel like it's all about the tournament? Be playing your best volleyball into late November, December, and how do you balance that with a desire to win the Big Ten?
Yeah, well, you got to get there. I think that's always going to be the goal, to win every single game we can. The reality that happens is, it's not great. Just because, like I mentioned, every single matchup, whether you're playing at home or you're playing on the road, you're going to have a Final Four type matchup every single time you step on the floor. And I'm talking not just the top teams in our conference. I'm talking 1 through 14. I can remember incidents last year. We go 5 with Rutgers, and they played lights out, and then we go to Penn State the very next day and beat them, and what seemed to be an easier game, but that's just a part of what the conference is. And so you really it teaches us coaches and the players how to, again, just kind of take everything for what it's worth, cherish those victories, making sure you're really celebrating every victory that you have, and then continually learn from the win or the loss, and so hey, we did well this game, and this is what we did well. And then if we didn't do well, what can we shore up and get ready for the next game?
Question?
Drew Freeberg, Daily Illini. Coach, you have recruiting pipelines across the Midwest, overwhelmingly Midwestern team this year, but this year you brought in Sophie from Seattle. and the Big Ten is now set to broadcast matches internationally. How important is it to you to get recruits like that from all over the country and even internationally?
Yeah, we got Hawaiian too, so we're branching out. I think we've had players from all over, but yeah, I think most of our rosters are going to look, fairly regionalized. I think that's pretty standard across the country. And so, you're always looking to bring in the best no matter where they come from. And, I'm proud that we have great players from the region. And, but it's also about we're trying to be the best conference. You're trying to be one of the best teams in the best conference. You're going to have to look anywhere and everywhere and try to, promote that and to get players from all over who want to be here and want to be a part of something special.
Lee.
Diana, is this true that you were a freshman and redshirted Jordan's senior year?
Yes.
So you practiced with her
Yes.
that year, so you made her into what she is then? Could you talk about being in the gym with her and then the successes she had, probably thinks pretty cool, but influences she might have had on you that year, and then I know she visits once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, she's pretty cool. She's awesome. But I think just being in the gym, how much confidence she had in our team. Obviously, she's really good at volleyball, and so whether she knew it or not, I was kind of watching what she does. And as a freshman, I think everyone kind of does that, try to, integrate yourself into the program. But just the way she, I remember our match against Wisconsin, we ran out of subs, and one of our DSs had to play front row. And it was like either a train wreck or it was gonna work. And Jordan facilitated this amazing defense and offense, and we won that set, and it was jaw dropping. And so just from that season, she's a great role model, and whenever she comes back in town, she always texts me or we talk. And so yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool to have her in front of me.
Lincoln, your question.
Yeah. Lincoln Arneal, Omaha World Herald. Coach, I think you had 3 or 4 spring matches were canceled. Where does that put you as far as developmental wise for going into this season? And does having such a experienced roster, does that kind of offset any maybe missed opportunities you had in the spring?
Yeah, I think we added some players towards the end. Obviously, our freshman class, and then we added the transfer Caleb Burbage at the end. So I look at the spring as full development, and whether you're playing competition or not. It was unfortunate we had to cancel those matches. Just had some illnesses we couldn't recover from. But the team does a lot of their work in the summertime without us there, and I wish that we could work with them. But I know we're trying to push for that as a sport. But it's also I do believe in the good teams will continue to get better. I think there's that Mia Hamm quote where it's you're drenched in sweat when nobody's watching is where that's going to get made. And so I know these players have been working hard all summer, and yeah, you would like to have that time. You like to have those matches to kind of see what you got in front of a crowd. But we've also not been in front of crowds before, as the last couple of years has shown. And I know these players are going to be ready to play come next week.
Kennedy, you follow up what you said too. I mean, the development happens in the summer. Are you pleased with where the team's at too? And he mentioned one of the things they're pushing for is that contact. You wish that was an option to have during the summer months.
Yeah, I think our team is in a good spot this summer, just with us not having as much competition in the spring. I think we still playing like we did have that competition in the spring this summer. So it's really exciting to see us work hard every day and prepare for the season. So I think we're in a good spot.
Matt, sure.
Matt Brown, Extra Points and D1 Ticker. A quick question here for Kennedy and Diana. We've had these conversations over the last day or so about hey, women's volleyball is ascending. We have this media event. We're on linear television more often. It's becoming a bigger, a growing sport. I'm curious what advice either of you would have if you were asked what you would want to do to change to make the sport better from an athlete, academic perspective, competition perspective, anything from your experience that you want to change to help college volleyball.
We just kind of talked about it. I would say just having that extra time with our coaches in the summer. I know other sports do have the opportunity to work with their coaches over the summer, so I think that would be nice to help us even prepare us more for our season.
I think I always kind of find myself comparing to men's basketball and football, and it is pretty obvious that they make a lot of profit, but I want to be the ones that people compare too. We want to compare to women's volleyball, and not just women's, but men's too. And so I think it's important to be an ally to our men's side of the sport. And so I don't really have a specific example, but I want to be the ones that people are looking toward.
Sort of related, but a couple weeks ago, Diana, I saw on Twitter you signed with Campus Inc. And a few days ago, Sky Clark, Artur Sikowski are also representing. Can you maybe touch on what that opportunity is like to be able to grow your brand and be among that group of athletes on campus?
Ken actually signed before me, and she has some merch out, so go purchase
Yeah.
that. But the NIL stuff is really cool. I'm personally not the best at branding myself, but I think it gives me a little bit of insight into the real world. And, if I want opportunities, I have to go get them. And so we are presented with cool things like this, and they approach me and, take this opportunity and not take advantage of that. So.
Matt, yeah.
I get on that note, our publication's written a ton about NIL, and clearly this market now is very different from where it was last summer. Brands are approaching it differently. Schools are providing different information. How has that process changed for you two, both in terms of what you're getting from Illinois and what you're seeing out there in the greater NIL space?
For me, I still want my sport and my academics to be the forefront of my priorities. And so not a lot has changed in my life, but I think that even more doors were open for us. And even from the beginning, I feel like it was a lot like, go brand yourself, ask other companies what you can do for them. But now we have people approaching us. And so even from last year to this year, it's growing. And I think it's kind of cool that every athlete has that opportunity.
Yeah, I would agree. Just being presented with the opportunity is amazing. Like Diana said, volleyball and academics is obviously important, but we're adding the extra baggage now with NIL. But at Illinois, the support system has been great. Everybody's been helping. We have a special guy that helps us with that, so it's been really helpful.
Additional questions from the room? Pete.
Coach, you've done such a good job of keeping so many of the players you have, transfer portal becoming a more and more popular thing. What's it been like to not only keep two great players that are next to you, but keep the squad intact and have them buy into what you're coaching?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting question because I don't think it's avoidable. We've had a transfer every year. I think one every year to be exact, and it's going to happen. There's going to be players. Some of ours have been due to injury, as an example, and unfortunately. So we haven't really had too much of an exodus in terms of players going out, but we've had a few come in. So I think it's great if you need to fulfill a spot and you need to have some depth or whatnot. But overall, I'm pretty big on loyalty, so I'm not looking to make the transfer portal a big priority moving forward. But for those players that are out there that maybe they didn't find a great fit first time around, we feel like we've created a good culture and that we've had a good thing going, and we're happy to accept anyone that wants to be with us. But I think that's also the reason why people aren't leaving us either, because we have created that culture and it's something we continue to do. And we commit to these players for 4 or 5 years, however long it takes them to get through their career. I want to make sure we fulfill that commitment because I think that's important.
Other questions?
Back for a last, for Kennedy and Diana. Well, I don't know what's last year anymore, but it's sort of a senior year, right? Is there any different mindset or vibe you're feeling going into this in a leave it all out there kind of way?
I don't think that I really have regretted any of my effort on the court before this, but being an underclassman, you always hear about the upperclassmen, and they're like, oh, my body hurts and I'm getting so old and stuff like that. But I was just explaining to one of my teammates the other day, I don't really feel that yet. And so I think just my body like is speaking to me, and I'm like, I'm excited, I'm rejuvenated, I'm ready to go. And so I don't think in that aspect it's any different. And this may be my last season, but also like you have to take every point like it's your last. You know, injuries unfortunately come here and there, and so I guess I just don't really take for granted any play that I have.
I would agree. I don't think my mindset has changed at all. I know as a team we talked about, like, we made the tournament, made it to the Sweet 16 last year. Like, that's our standard. So as a team, I think that mindset has shifted because we always want to make the tournament. We always want to be, like, at the top of it. So as a team, that was our mindset shift this year.